Hey, good morning. Or is it afternoon? It's day 22929 for me. It's Sunday, so it's a sesh. And yes, I'm using the bong again today, but it's not a necessity because I had packed the bowl for my wife and I to share, but she's too engaged with trimming. She's a trimmer grant this morning. She's trimming off all the excess leaves, superfluous stuff that we don't need, that is turning yellow, that is zapping the nugs of their nutrients. So Kelly is working in Bliss Garden. I just got all the housework stuff kind of going, and thought I'd spend a few minutes with you, and we'll have a little sesh. Man, I slept late today. I slept till 9:30, which is just incredibly late for me. And I haven't been sleeping well at night, and I have been thinking a lot about how everybody seems to be very tired and exhausted. Even this dragonfly that just landed, he's just pooped. See, you barely get off the table. But have you been feeling that too? Have you been feeling like you're just so exhausted? And I thought, well, God, why is this? Well, part of it comes down to maybe the pandemic. 20 was such an awful year. 21 was not much better. And, everybody was kind of not sure what was going on. Some people saying it's a plandemic. Some people saying that it's the, the end of times. But the real thing is, it's an endemic. It's going to be coming back every year in different variations, and we're going to have to continually get updated vaccines for it. If you're a vaccinated kind of person, I am, because I have a compromised immune system, and it really has made a difference for me. Yeah, it's windy and it's a little chilly today. I think the temperature is probably about maybe 70, 72 right now. That's why I've got my overshirt on, that in the sun, to protect myself. But we're sitting here at the northwest corner of near the northwest corner of the John Bourne zone, and yeah, it's definitely fall in the air. I think I talked about that last week, how I have this like subtle fear going on that I'm not going to have a good year because of whatever. Winters are always hell for me, even in a place like this where it's a really mild winter. I mean, the coldest it typically gets here is maybe in the upper 30s, low 40s, but whatever. I'll give you a shot of what it looks like around here, okay? Like I was saying, so the pandemic, I think, has something to do with this general exhaustion that's going on for me, for the people that I communicate with regularly, from the people that I just kind of randomly meet. Everybody seems to be kind of tired and exhausted. Part of it, I think, is definitely leftover pandemic shit. I also think part of it is what's going on culturally, with our politics, with our nation being seemingly divided in some way for some reason. And I don't really understand that, but I think that just the minutia of shit that comes out in the media on the far right, in the the centrists like CNN and all those, and the left, all of them, just all this stuff, and he's going to be a dictator from side one. They're kids are going to school and getting sex change operations. Ridiculous, but it's just like all this like shit that goes on in it. It, I think, sinks in, even if you're not really paying attention to it. It sinks in. And man, it's fucking tiring because a lot of it is such bullshit. But it takes so much effort to sort through what's bullshit and what's not sometimes. I mean, immigrants eating pets, yeah, that's obviously a bullshit line. But yeah, did she call for a draft? I don't know. I have to look that up. And did he really say he's going to be a dictator from day one? Is it really, Project 2025, all that bad? And it takes effort to look at this stuff, and depressing, and a lot of brain work. And, yeah, that's another thing that just seems to add to the exhaustion, the general, shit that's going on. We've got pandemic shit. We've had like continual, since Trump has been involved, this nation it's like politics 24/7, all the way between all the elections from 16 until now. So 8 years now we've been, that's a fucking lot, man. I remember when, we'd have to think about it for like the 6 or 8 months before the election. We elect somebody, and then we don't have to talk about it again for 4 more years. Because you pretty much trusted whoever it was. I didn't like George Bush too, but I lived with it. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like our nation was at risk as much as I do with somebody like the former guy. But anyways, so are you as tired as I am? That's the question I'm kind of getting at today. Are we all feeling the same amount of exhaustion, or this general sense of being overwhelmed by all the stuff that's going on? Pandemic stuff, political stuff, the fucking climate is going crazy, storms and threats of flooding and earthquake, but man, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then, that's just stuff in all the big world. What about the shit that's going on in our personal worlds? I mean, I don't know about you, but I am kind of sandwiched between helping my parents and helping our kids. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot here emotionally in my mind. It takes a lot financially to be able to help, these people that are part of me that are and I feel kind of squished in between and not enough time for me to be me. Here I am at like this prime time in my life, and I'm overwhelmed by helping my adult themselves, and helping my aging parents keep themselves comfortable, safe and healthy as they can be. And that takes a lot. That's my own personal. And then my other personal thing is my own health. I continue to deal with a range of anxieties and PTSD symptoms occasionally. I still have various things from my terminal lupus diagnosis. It's just like, it is just overwhelming me sometimes. And I have no choice in it. My body just responds, and I get extra tired. My body doesn't recover from injuries as well as it did. My body can't. I can only hike 2 miles now. I can't hike a full 5. It's like after all this stuff, we need a grand reset. A whole catharsis, rejuvenation of our spirits, of our intellects, of our physicality, of our collective need. We all need to let go of all this anger, this ambient anger that we feel, this internalized anger that we have, and just be kind and act from a place of compassion, with empathy, with mercy, with grace. And I don't. I'm sorry. I know I suggest these things, but I don't really have a viable solution, a recommendation even. I mean, just everybody chill for 3 or 6 months or something. That's the best I can do. Let's go on a holiday. The lady who trades horses behind us has a couple of big dogs, and she keeps them penned up in the back part of her house over there, and that's who we're hearing right now. And I think they're kind of stirred because I just saw a gaggle of turkeys walking across the lawn down that way. So they're probably agitated by the wild turkeys that we have around here. What else can we talk about this week, folks? What else would you like to talk about? As you've noticed, I've kind of changed up the formatting a little bit on this channel. I'm putting things out there twice a week that are like this, I call it live, because this will be posted by the end of the day today. And when I do that Thursday talk, it's always posted by the end of the day Thursday. Sometimes it's in the 23rd hour, but it's still Thursday where I am, so it counts. And that's all I've been doing as far as that. And then I have the Wednesday, the middle of the week thing with the 3 Gs, which I really, really wish that I could make that go viral. That might be a solution. Let's all start. What are you grateful for? What are you good at? And what's your goal with each other? With strangers to strangers. 3 Gs. Maybe I should have some 3 Gs, t-shirts made up. I don't know. I think that is something, though, that it helps you be accountable. In being accountable, you're building integrity in yourself. You're building integrity with your community. And maybe it's an exercise that if more people were to practice, it might somehow lift us out of this din that we have, this quagmire of mixed up, what's real, what's not real reality that we have. So I'm doing the 3 Gs things on Wednesdays, and in between, when I get around to it, I've been making little shorts to kind of include. And I haven't done a real silly one in a while. Maybe I'll get one of those out this week. But it's all I can do because it doesn't take up too much of my time. It's worth it to me because I do get something out of making these videos for you. I think that ultimately what's going to happen is things are going to crack apart in some sort of way, whether it's the far right extremists who keep trying to take down parts of the power grid, or if it's the globalization of the supply chain breaking down because of whatever, there's bound, whether it's hackers or whether it's Mother Nature or whether it's labor on strike or who knows, the shit is just barely put together, and there's going to come a big crack up of some sort. And if it's inevitable, the thing to do is think about what the next step after the crack up is. Do we tribalize and start attacking each other for the limited resources, or do we start sharing each other's knowledge and experience and industry to rebuild for everybody, to lift everybody out of the shit pit that we'll be in? that seems to be the more important question. If it's inevitable that there's going to be some kind of crack up, the best thing we can do is plan how to come back from the crack up. What model are we gonna? Are we going to be like The Walking Dead? Where everything's tribalized and you've got people like the Negan or the Skinwalkers or other humans after humans, or is it going to be we come together in such a way that we rebuild something new, something that is acceptable and suitable for everybody? And maybe that's where the great redistribution of culture might happen. Those people who just can't stand the fucking fact that same-sex people love each other can go, here, you have that part of the world, and the people who are accepting are going to live in this part of the world. That whole dichotomy of different acceptable things in culture. Let's just respect the fact that we have differences, and you go there and be you, and we're going to go here and be us, or however it shakes out. And maybe there's a land in the middle where it's a little bit of both. People still do things. That's what I think is really important, though, is after a great crack up of some sort, what do we do next? Like Miles Davis said, when you make a mistake, it's not the mistake that matters. It's what note do you play after that? Do you make the mistake worse? Or do you strike a note of genius and take the, solo in a different way, Excuse me one more time. And there's my daughter over there and my grandson, so I think I'm needed over inside. So perhaps this concludes this week's Sunday Sesh. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for subscribing. I've noticed that we've gotten a few new subscribers. Welcome. Thank you. Tell your friends. And like I always tell you guys, here's something else to look at, okay? Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the setup. It's almost Monday morning, so let's talk about what the point is of the setup. Sometimes, like last week, I told you about goals, 3 goals that you must do, 2 goals that are sort of, if you get to them, great, and 1 goal for you. But this week, what we're going to talk about is the actual planning of things, where you make up lists, in particular, all the different pros and cons, all the different, this can go this way, this can go this way, and this can go this way. Making lists, making plans, gaming out what can happen in the course of you going to reach your goals is so helpful, because sometimes you set off for a goal and you've got a certain methodology and something happens and it sends things off into left field. And what you need to do is recover from that as quick as you can to stay on course, to meet your goal, to get to the deadline that you set for yourself, or perhaps somebody set for you. So planning things, making lists, gaming things out is essential to setting up your week. And that's about all I've got for you this week. So I want to thank you again for subscribing and invite you to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And like you often hear me say, take care of yourselves, take care of your plans, take care of your family, take care of your neighborhood, and be safe when you're out there. Be safe when you're at home. Be safe with your heart. Be safe in your head, and keep your dauber up. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.